Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jaclyn. I'm the marketing manager of the Video Call Center. We as a company believe that smartphones make smart television, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about that. Some of you look confused. Larry Thaler was originally in the schedule for this. He's in the audience, so if you're here for him, you can find him after this. There are 4 billion smartphones in the world, and with the solution provided by the VCC, these 4 billion smartphones have the potential to be some of the world's best ENG devices. Let's talk about the smartphone for a minute. When the first iPhone was created in 2007, it created massive changes in the way that we do daily routine tasks. Things that were once truly scary to us, like online banking, for example, have become so commonplace and so comfortable that I, as a millennial, much prefer to do all my banking online rather than deal with mailing a paper check, which I just cannot seem to do. As an industry, we've accepted mobile devices as a point of distribution. We know that the vast majority, or a vast majority, of the content that we create will be consumed on mobile devices. We are so comfortable with that today that we even create content specifically tailored to those devices. That's not how it started out. You can imagine the first movie director who was approached by a fan and heard the words, "Oh my gosh, I loved your film. I watched it on my 3-inch phone screen while I was waiting to board a plane." Sounds like a very sad resolution to years of work and a possibly multi-million-dollar budget. But what that first director might not have realized is that that film still could have changed her viewer's life, and they may have proceeded to watch that film another 3 more times on that same device. We as an industry were afraid that consumption of media on mobile devices would water down the experience. We were wrong. Unfortunately, we were a little right in that it did water down revenue sources a little bit, but I have some solutions for that as we go on. As an industry, we've accepted that incredible stories can be told to mobile devices, and what I'm here saying today is that incredible stories can also be told from mobile devices. What makes a smartphone so significant to our industry? Well, first, the sheer fact that there's 4 billion of them. They're located all throughout the world. But what makes them so useful for us as creators is their design. Every smartphone is created with the camera, with the microphone, with the speaker, with a video screen. They come programmed with two-way video applications, and they use terrestrial technology, which means the latency is virtually non-existent. You can't detect it. Once you accept that as a source for a possible remote contribution, you are able to gain access to remotes from anywhere without having to send crews, without having to rent special equipment, without having to buy satellite time. All those are still options, but the obligation is no longer there. Smartphones make smart contribution. So the way that this works is you have your story, it's out somewhere in the world. You let us at the VCC know who you want to get in touch with, and a call producer gets in contact with that person on the device that they already had, optimizes their call so that the signal quality is ensured, frames them, lights them, treats them like a broadcast remote, and once they're confident in the signal, turn it off to you as an option in your control room, a clean HDSDI signal. This caller, by the way, is being treated as a professional broadcast remote, meaning they're receiving audio IFB mix minus, so they're hearing program minus their own voice. You're able to give them directions off air to prep them for when you're going to bring them on the air. They are also all receiving live return video, which means they're actually seeing the program as they're on it. And because of the ultra low latency of this technology, they're able to do things like narrate over B-roll or even do play-by-play commentary from wherever they're located in the world. These are things that you simply could not do with other solutions like satellite or even bonded cellular solutions. Smartphones make smart finance. When you're willing to accept smartphones as a source for remotes, you are able to free up a lot of capital. Instead of having to send out these trucks, crews, and specialized equipment, you're able to bring in stories into a centralized location, and one call producer is able to bring in feeds that would take crews days or weeks to do, because one call producer can manage multiple feeds and even do them simultaneously or back to back, which lowers the overall cost per remote. Also, when you're set up to work with the VCC, we believe in an all-you-can-eat business model. So once you are working with us and once we're locked in, however many remotes you bring onto your program is dependent on the pacing of your program and your Rolodex. It's really, there's no increase per cost. The more the better, in our opinion. If you are looking to make your productions even more efficient, VCC has automated host-driven productions. Think about talk radio. When talk radio is done, you have the radio show host, they're running the switchboard, you have callers coming in. It's a very lean crew that runs these radio shows. Well, we have a model of video production that mimics that same way. You can have entire live broadcast programs without ever needing to fire up a control room. You can run your open, cue your breaks, run your close, all of your B-roll, graphics, lower thirds, all done by your host or a producer. And with this, there's no capital expenditure, so you're reducing your overall operating costs. And also, because of the nature of this type of program, your host and your producer can also be located anywhere. So you have your video contributors who are anywhere, your talent can now be anywhere. So if they're on the road, but you still want them to host your program, you now can do that. And your producer, if they prefer to work from home, we'll give them the tools to do that too. This particular model works exceptionally well for talk shows and after shows where you can bring in your cast from home or whoever it happens to be. So financial return is a great thing. If you're like me, you kind of want a deeper meaning more than financial return. So this is an even further reason why smartphones make smart engagement. So you have your audience, they're at home, they're watching your program, they love your program, they watch it every day, they're tweeting at you, maybe commenting on your Facebook feed. You decide that you want to give them the opportunity to participate in your program. Your viewer at home gets really excited. Oh my gosh, I love this show. Nobody responds to my tweets. Now I can finally talk to them on the air. So what you get the opportunity to do as a producer is invite an unlimited number of people to say, hey, I want to be on your program. And you're then provided with the tools to sort through so that you're only selecting the callers who are the best fit for your program, the callers who meet the criteria, who have the most interesting question for your celebrity guests. And then those callers that meet your standards are handed off to the human call producer, who again serves the function of your crews in the field. Only this time they are directing non-technical and non-television people to get themselves framed up, to help them with their lighting, to help calm their nerves as they're getting really excited to be on the air. All of these callers that we connect with, we're doing so on native applications. If you've worked really hard to get your audience interested enough to be on your show, or if you've worked really hard to book a guest, we don't want you to lose that guest because you're asking them to download an application or you're asking them to find their username. So what we do is we have software that detects the device they're on and will allow us to connect with them in a way that they're comfortable with and in a way that doesn't require them to do anything else. We want you to focus on the stories. We want your guests to focus on the experience. Once that caller is ready for air and our call producer is confident in the signal, which has been optimized through our software and through the call screening expertise, they let you know that that caller is ready. You then have the opportunity to, of course, speak to your guests before you put them on the air. And you, of course, retain the option to say, actually, I don't want this person. Get me that other caller from the caller queue, which I don't think I said. The caller queue is the VCC's virtual green room in the cloud. So think of this as your backstage area where all of your guests who want to be on your program are waiting. The next logical question would be, you have all of these guests in your virtual green room. What are they doing while they're waiting for the opportunity to be called to air? So they're doing the same thing that you would do in a physical green room. They're watching the program, which means they're staying up to date in the conversation. They're receiving stage announcements. So if the producer wants to say, hey, this is the next segment that's coming up, type in all your questions for this celebrity, they can do that. And also, while they're waiting, they're being encouraged to share their appearance on social media. So me personally, if I'm about to be on a program talking to Dolly Parton or some celebrity, you can absolutely bet that I'm going to be sharing that on social media. I might try to craft the post to make it seem not self-indulgent, but I will be sharing it because I want people to know that I'm going to be talking to this person on this program. As a producer, you have the opportunity to pre-program these messages with your own language. So your handles, your hashtags, whatever is most important to your messaging gets pre-programmed into these posts, so that as your viewers, who are now becoming participants, as they're sharing about your program, your message is now getting out there in your words to social circles that it otherwise would not have been exposed to. We call this social amplification, and this is the process of taking viewers, turning them into participants, allowing them to promote your show. And what we found in our experience is that participants become some of the best promoters for your show. I'm not going to tell you to get rid of your marketing team, because that's what I am. Marketing is still important. But once you invite your viewers to be on your program, the type of loyalty and engagement that develops is very different from when they're passively watching. We used to do a weekly show called Stick to Sports, which was entirely caller-based. We had a host, Robin Lundberg from ESPN Sports Illustrated. He would bring in callers from all over the world, talk sports and entertainment. This show would air every Wednesday. On Tuesday, we would still be blown up with notifications on Twitter from the callers from last week's show, continuing the conversations, adding on to the jokes, and then bringing those jokes into the next week's of show. It made managing those social accounts a lot easier, and it allowed us to know that the content we were creating alongside with our participants, our viewers, was engaging to the point where they were talking about it all week long without us having to ask them to promote or talk about our programs. The best news about all of this is that it works with almost every genre. We do extensive work with the 90 Day Fiancé franchise on TLC. The nature of this program is that there are romantic partners. One lives in the United States, one lives overseas. They can't be together for visa reasons. So in order to get these people in relationships together, TLC turns to us so that we are able to provide two-way, live, low latency, face-to-face video remotes. In this particular still, which you probably can't see too well because it's tiny, that's a gentleman who is in Spain and his fiance who's here in the United States, and they're seeing each other face to face. You see how happy he is because he's seeing the person that he loves in real time. This solution that we offer them, there's not really another way that they could do it. You could send crews, you could run satellite time, but to get both the return video and the low latency and to be able to access numerous people on a single given night, this is really the way to do it. We've done 5 continents in one night with TLC, and there's no increased latency based on location, no change in fees. It's all, we don't care where you are, we'll get you the remote. We've done a lot of work in the sports field, especially with Fox Sports Regionals, Major League Baseball, most recently Intersport with their 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And we've done work in news, music, celebrity entertainment. The only genre I could think of right now that we have not tapped into is horror. So if anybody has an idea for a horror show and you want to run it by us, let us know. But we've had a lot of fun. We started as a company under the belief that one day smartphones could possibly help us make television a whole lot smarter. Our clients are out there proving this to us in new ways every single day, in ways that we ourselves didn't think of, and we're really excited to keep on going. One thing I didn't mention is that in the age of 5G, which is just around the corner, these phones that we've already been able to make very reliable are about to become even more reliable, faster. Camera quality and resolution is always improving. We believe very strongly in the product and remotes that we do now, and the technology is developing itself to help continue making it better and better. And that is my presentation. We are located right back there. If y'all just turn around, our booth is right there, booth 11710, and we'd love to hear your ideas, answer any questions, and I'll dedicate the rest of my time to any questions that you guys might have. Yes? Yeah. So a few of our clients, what they do is they'll actually bring in remotes and they'll sell it for sponsorship. So we've done work with Wet Paint, and they had their entire caller program sponsored by Kung Fu Bubble Tea. Also, some of the work that we just picked up with clients, they are looking to sell for sponsorships. So that branding opportunity is absolutely there, if that's... Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it. And again, we're booth 11710, and we are literally right there. Thank you.